Hello everyone, you're now with me, Ruben Gomez, for TVS News at 5. Now, let us begin. The Sarawak Legislative Assembly DUN has passed the bill to amend state constitution to change the designations of Chief Minister to Premier. The bill was passed in the DUN sitting that is ongoing from 14th to 16th of February.
The bill, which was tabled by Tourism, Creative Industry and Performing Arts Minister Datuk Sri Abdul Karim Rahman Hamzah, was passed with the support of 67 members of the August House after a second round of voting by show of hands. The bill also involves amending the term assistant ministers in the Sarawak Constitution to deputy ministers. Earlier, a total of 16 state assemblymen were debating on the bill, where 12 assemblymen from Gabungan Parti Sarawak GPS rendered their full support to the amendment, while 4 opposition representatives went to oppose the bill. GPS representatives also wanted the federal government to recognize the premier title, including ensuring that priority is given to Sarawak's premier over other states' chief minister during ceremonies and official meetings.
The special status of Sarawak needs to be reflected in the manner different from other states in the Federation of Malaysia. The recently passed bill to change the title of Sarawak's Chief Minister to Premier, a step towards regaining and achieving all that is listed under Malaysia Agreement 1963.
The recent amendment to the Federal Constitution restores the spirit originally contemplated by the parties to the Malaysia Agreement 1963, OMA 63, and that is when Sarawak agreed to be a party in the formation of Malaysia. It was intended that Sarawak retains its status as one of the 3 regions, namely Federation of Malaya, Sabah and Sarawak, that form the new Federation of Malaysia. This puts Sarawak as one of the 3 regions and is to be regarded not with the same status as the other component states in the Federation of Malaya.
Currently, Article 7A of the Sarawak Constitution provides the designation of assistant ministers to assist the chief minister and ministers to discharge their duties and functions. In view of the responsibilities that they hold and exercise, Karim said it is necessary to reflect the proper designation and style from that of assistant minister to deputy minister.
Hence, it is proposed that the designation of, quote, assistant minister, unquote, be restyled as, quote, deputy minister, unquote, to better reflect their functions and responsibilities.
The bill tabled by Karim was in accordance to the Constitution Amendment Act 2022, Act A 1642, which came into force on February 11. Karim also said that once the definition of federation in the federal constitution has been amended, the said definition in the state constitution should also be amended.
Therefore, to be consistent with the new interpretation of, quote, the federation, unquote, in the federal constitution, it is necessary that the definition of the federation in the state constitution be amended accordingly.
Now, Sarawak has been called to consider reviewing its oil royalties from 5% to 10% as provided under Part 5 of the 10th Schedule of the Federal Constitution. At the same time, acquiring an increase of the special grant to Sarawak under Part 4 of the same schedule.
This additional revenue is vital to the development of Sarawak state infrastructure.
He said this during his debate on the Constitution of the State of Sarawak Amendment Bill 2022 during the State Legislative Assembly Dun sitting on Tuesday. Meanwhile, as equal partners in the Federation, Tiong also urged to demand for decentralization of real autonomy power from the federal government. He said this to resolve issues relating to citizenship for stateless children, education, security and border control, immigration, and public health. Following the amendments to the federal constitution, Sarawak must now make the relevant amendments to the state constitution.
Let the people reap the true benefit of this amendment to the federal constitution. Therefore, I move for autonomy to be granted to the Borneo state in line with the spirit of MA 63, particularly in the explosion of petroleum, education, healthcare, and taxes, and levy to be granted to Sarawak.
It is time for another review of the existing seat allocations. Considering Sarawak's growing population and rapid development, Dudong Assemblyman Dato Sri Tiong King Sing said this to ensure that elected representatives can continue to take care of the people's welfare.
With our growing population and rapid development, it is time for us to review the existing numbers on the cabinet and also coming to the additional parliament seat, including the state seat, and whether it is suitable to allow our representatives to continue to take care and welfare of the people comprehensively and ensure their livelihoods are not ignored. Clearly, Sarawak is a rather unique state, and one constituency could be the size of the other state. Therefore, with a greater autonomy, we should be make the most effectively adjustment for the interests of the people of Sarawak.
He added that Sarawak must also strive to implement these proposals towards decentralization of autonomy powers by passing the appropriate resolutions in the August House or by amending the related portions of the state constitution.
This effort must be done with the objective of Sarawak first, for the benefit of the people of Sarawak. Matters involving the interests and rights of the people of Sarawak must be prioritized.
Besides the economy and education, Tiong said the fields that the young generation are interested in, including sports, must also be a benefit and priority to the state.
Geologically challenged, climate change, growing population, and economic competition. All these are reasons for a country in need of land to develop. To overcome the pervasive space challenge, a country invests in mega projects that will help overcome these problems and take it into the next century. Discover these man-made marvels in tomorrow's city. Every Friday, 9 p.m. on TVS Channel 122 Astro and MyTV.
Memulakan langkah pertama memerlukan 1000 kekuatan. Langkah seterusnya memerlukan nekat dan juga keyakinan. Namun anda semua perlu menyokong dan juga membantu mereka kerana kepilihan itu pasti.
Welcome back. 2 children at age 3 and 5 were among the 4 illegal immigrants detained during the Ops Benteng in Lubuk Antu today. The family of 4 were travelling in a 4-wheel drive in the presence of 3 other skippers were thwarted from entering Sarawak at around 4:07 a.m. The vehicle, which was travelling in a suspicious manner, was stopped for inspection at about 3.8 kilometres from the Malaysia-Indonesia border.
According to the Malaysian 1st Division Infantry in a statement, further inspection found that the suspect had no valid travelling documents. The suspects were arrested and handed over to the Lubuk Antu District Police Headquarters for further investigations. The operations team also seized a 4-wheel drive vehicle with 5 units of mobile phone at an estimated total value of 98,350 ringgit. Meanwhile, the statement also stressed that the army will always remain vigilant and committed to maintain the nation's security and sovereignty is protected.
Now, Malaysian Prime Minister Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri Yaakob, who is currently on a 2-day official visit to Brunei Darussalam, had an audience with the Sultan of Brunei, Sultan Hassanal Bolkiah, at Istana Nurul Iman in Bandar Seri Begawan today. Accompanied by his wife, Datin Sri Muhaini Zainal Abidin, Ismail Sabri arrived at the palace at 10:45 a.m.
Prime Minister Ismail Sabri held a 4-eye meeting with Sultan Hassanal Bolkiah, which lasted about 30 minutes. During the visit, Sultan Hassanal Bolkiah's wife, Raja Isteri Pengiran Anak Saleha, was in attendance. Also present were Malaysian Foreign Ministry Datuk Sri Saifuddin Abdullah, Federal Territories Minister Datuk Sri Shahidan Kasim, and Malaysian High Commissioner to Brunei, Datuk Raja Reza Raja Zain Shah. The Malaysian delegation was then feted to a luncheon hosted by the ruler. Ismail Sabri arrived here last night and was accorded an official welcoming ceremony at the international airport. This is his first visit to Brunei after being appointed as Malaysia's 9th Prime Minister in August last year.
Now, Umrah pilgrims who are eligible to receive compensation following the temporary postponement of Umrah travel are given until next month to open a Tabung Haji TVS savings account to receive the compensation. Minister in the Prime Minister's Department for Religious Affairs, Senator Dato Idris Ahmad, said the period was extended because more than 1,000 pilgrims have yet to open a TVS account, which is the sole medium to be used for the payment.
He told reporters this after attending the opening ceremony of the state-level Multaka Murabbi Ummah at Al-Azim Mosque here today, officiated by Melaka Chief Minister Datuk Sri Sulaiman Muhammad Ali. Also present was the Department of Islamic Development JAKIM Deputy Chief Executive of Operations Datuk Dr. Sirajuddin Suhaimi. Idris said that he had also asked Tabung Haji to notify its branch offices around the country to make it easier to create Tabung Haji savings account, which would speed up the payout process. It was reported that pilgrims who were affected by the temporary postponement of Umrah travel would each receive 1,671 ringgit in compensation to be paid out on February 18. The Ministry of Tourism, Arts and Culture, MOTAC, had submitted a list of 8,027 pilgrims who were eligible to receive the compensation, and out of that number, nearly 1,000 individuals still do not have Tabung Haji savings account.
Well, that concludes TVS News at 5. I'm Ruben Gomez. Anytime, anywhere.